Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Truth Quest. My name is Aaron Moriarity. I will be your host, and we're going to go on a quest for truth together. Yes, we certainly are. How are you folks doing tonight? I'm going to share this on out there because that's how people know about it. Alrighty then, and we're going to get the music rolling too. How does that sound? Okay, gotta set this up so it continues this time. Yeah, rocking and rolling. We're rocking and rolling. We are LIVE exclamation point. We're live, baby. And we're coming at you over the airwaves, across this planet, and across to other realms. It looks like there's two watching now. I'm going to go and share this to my page too, if you don't mind. So, yeah, that's what that's all about. Okay, here we go. Here we are. Well, friends, this is the 70th episode, can you believe it, of the Truth Quest Full Disclosure series. Amazing. Amazing, and thank you for being here, everybody. It means a lot to me. You're like my friends, and it's just wonderful to be able to connect online like this all across the globe, whether it be flat, square, or round, whatever it is, the intranet can get you there, right? That's right. The intranet. Hello, Becky. You're the first one here. Well, thank you very much. I gotta. See, there we go. Welcome to the Truth Quest. We got some interesting things to talk about today. I hope you're all having a good time. Make sure you like. I'm going to hit the like button. I'm number 2. What number can you be? Oh, no, I'm number 2. That's not good. Oh, boy. That's okay. Someone is number 3. 5 watching now. Share this on out to your favorite social media platform. Share it on out to all of your friends and ex-friends. How's that sound? They might like it. They might like it. They just might like it. I hope you're all doing well. Hello, Austin. Greetings. Yeah, from down there in Tennessee. Yeah, I was in Tennessee once. I went to Memphis. It was fabulous. It was amazing. It was very hot. It was in August. So maybe it's cooling down a bit over there now. Maybe. You got fall coming, right? That's right. Okay. Well, today, friends, you know, when you are, when you see something like a UFO, and it really kind of like hits you, right? That these things are out there. And it's just, it changes your whole life. It changes the way you think about pretty much everything. And you, where's that? Where is that? Okay, here we go. Oh, I'll have to isolate this. Okay. All right. I'll tell you what I did today, all right? Here we go. It's something I did, you know, a lot more in the past. Starting to get a little cooler, yeah. Well, that's good. So being interested in UFOs and wondering who the heck is operating them, I would frequently go on the intranet in the past and, you know, punch in, do a Google search for real alien, okay? Hoping to catch someone posting something that would be of interest. For instance, a real alien. So I did that today just for the heck of it. And here is what the search kind of brought up, okay? This is just a normal Google search. I also did a DuckDuckGo search as well. So there it is, folks. So this is your Google. You just punch in real alien. And okay, now this definitely is not a real alien. Okay, this is, you can tell it's a sculpture or a mask or some kind of doll that you can buy. Okay. This one up here, I remember when this one came out, I think it was filmed somewhere in Russia or near Russia, and it was in the ice or in the snow, and it was a partially, it had its arm missing. Here it is right here. The arm was missing. And it was very intriguing. It looked real. It looked like a real being there in the snow. It had an arm eaten off by some animal. But later on, someone came out allegedly, and they said they made this out of chicken skin. Now, I don't know. I just don't think that's possible to make something like that out of chicken skin, okay? You know, I just don't think so. So I don't know. That's always a mystery. Now, this one here from the famous video, the alien interview, I believe this has a good chance of being real. This one, I think this is just, you know, created for some TV show or something. Here's that darn Tic Tac again. We'll be seeing that for the next 50 years. Trust me, folks. Next 50 years. It'll be nothing but Tic Tac, Tic Tac, Tic Tac. Oh, look what the government released. Oh, look. Look over here. Don't look over there. Yeah, it's distraction. Okay, I'm going through here now. So I'm looking for real aliens. Here's a guy who has tattoos and implants to make himself look like an alien. That's not a real alien. These are not real aliens. Okay, now this is the Atacama being. Now, is it an alien? Nobody knows. This could be just some indigenous life form that's out there in the desert, in the Atacama desert, right? Maybe, you know, they've caught another creature very similar to this, very similar in stature, very small, 6 inches or so, caught in like a little trap. I wonder if they'll have that one on here. I don't know. Some of these. Okay, here's the picture, a little teeny picture of the Roswell autopsy, which I do believe is real. That's my opinion. Here is something caught on one of those night cam things. You know, what is it? Some emaciated man living in the woods? I don't know. What is that? I don't know. Does anybody know? Oh my goodness, Nicoletta Trumpy Bear. Welcome, and thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much. Bravo. And another one too. On set. Yes. I'm so glad to see you again. Austin Martin, Tic Tac, Gimbal, and Go Fast. Yeah. Isn't that something else? Thank you so much. Yeah. Now this looks like something someone made. You know, I don't know what this article is. I didn't really click on it. Hamona chulas. All right. Alrighty then. And okay, so now this, look at this. Aliens in viral video leave internet. Now, these aren't aliens. These are baby or adolescent owls. There's some kind of bird, you know, but the way they're standing, they look very alien-like. But so that's not a real alien, you know. You gotta love this movie. It was funny, but I can't watch movies anymore, you know. Sad. This, you know, could be real. I think it has a chance of being real. They have all the x-rays. Looks like a real creature. Okay. So they're actually, you know, mostly fake. Okay, this is either a drawing or something. It's not real. Okay, here's this guy with the tattoos again. That's not real. This looks like a drawing. Okay. There's some kind of drawing here. I don't know what this is. Some ape skull drawing or painting. Yeah, so they're very scarce on the actual pictures of aliens. Isn't that something? Isn't that something else? Oh, Tom Thumb. Oh, you're talking about the small humanoids. Okay. Well, yeah, and where is he? Now, speaking of the Atacama being, where did he go? He's back up here somewhere. Okay, now this one's fake. It's, you know, like one of those Roswell museum things or something. That's a tourist sculpture. Okay. Apparently they have a toy you can do that kind of stuff. Very interesting. Oh, I think we missed it. Oh, guess what? We got a call, friends. Hello, Max.
Hello, Aaron. How are you doing?
If I was doing any better, I'd be you.
You got a good crowd there?
Yeah, we got a crowd here. We're always a crowd. Donald is real, yes.
Have you sprung any dad jokes on him today?
No dad jokes yet. No dad jokes yet. No.
Okay.
No. I was just looking, I was just showing a little Google search I did for real alien and some of the things that come up, you know. I was just pointing out which ones, you know, I consider to be possible real ones and the obvious fake ones. How are you doing tonight?
Good. I've had a few revelations on at least interesting things come up.
Yeah?
Well, you know how I was all excited about this last Independence Day, right?
Uh-huh.
I showed that how the phrase we are all familiar with, where we go one, we go all, you know.
Uh-huh. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Max, just take for 1 second. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Nicoletta Trumpy Bear posted something that I can't let this go by without saying something. Okay, so she's talking about homunculus, small humans. You heard about that? So she says you can take your sperm and or spit pinhole in egg and in 40 days incubate, then crack the shell. You got a living homunculus. Really? Oh, I've never heard that before. Wow. Oh, that's pretty bizarre. Well, thank you, Nicoletta Chumpy Bear, for the super chat. Mic drop.
Oh,
Homuncu. Homunculus.
Homunculus.
Homunculus. Thank you, Nicoletta Trumpy Bear. You would be a good teacher. Homunculus. Very good.
Humongous.
Yeah, it's the opposite of humongous, like a 6 inch tall human. Is that how big these creatures are?
Is that like human among us?
Yes, I'm Greek Books of Alexandria. Okay, interesting. Well, that is fascinating. So maybe that's what the Atacamba being is. Is that what you're saying, Nicoletta Trumpy Bear? Okay. Let me see. Okay, she says, Austin says, alchemy lore from the Middle Ages, the homunculus, the miniature human created in a lab report, allegedly. Oh, so verified by Austin. That's good enough for me.
Oh.
Awesome.
Oh.
You are a great foxhole soldier, Nicoletta Trumpy Bear. Wow. Well, glad to have you on the team here. Fantastic. I gotta look something up. Okay. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, it's no biggie. I was just noticing that, I was telling everybody before, how everything seemed to point to 1730, like the phrase "where we go, one we go all" was 1730, or which is substitute the letter for 17, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then of course Independence Day, Independence added to 998, which of course is 17, and then the word day landed at 30. I said, well, I thought at least that it was surely pointing to July 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Then I showed that 7/4, that even Jesus' name added to 7/4, like July 4th, and so all these things seem to suggest that it meant something, right?
Yeah.
And I still think it means something, right? Why is it there? So independence came and gone unless they're talking about another year. But then something dawned upon me. I was thinking, well, I remember I told you how you've got the energy of 5, the energy of 8, and then there were like higher level octaves.
Mm-hmm.
Like the higher level octave of 5 was 14, because it added 5. And you could add, and in this mathematics that I kind of developed, you could add any of those combinations, any of those octaves that get the same result. Like you had 5 and 14, you get you get 19, and you add 1 and 9, you get 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like just as if you were adding 5 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, it dawned on me. You remember I said you could shift anything that you added 9 or a multiple of 9 to, it essentially gave the same result.
Okay.
Or subtracted a multiple of 9.
Sure.
And so, here's what I'm getting at that. If you took 2 digits off 7/4 and moved from the 4 to the 7, you get 9/2. Well, and if you separate the 2 into 2 ones, you get a day.
Okay.
Well, that's interesting. We all know that day, and then there's this phrase in the drop says their symbolism will be their undoing.
Yes.
And I said, well, what greater symbolism than that day for the black hats, right?
Mm-hmm.
September 11th is there,
Yeah.
So I said, well, what if you substitute the word September 11th in that phrase? September 11th will be their undoing.
Okay.
And so I thought, okay. So I just started looking around. I said, okay, September 11th, 21. Okay, that's the day. That's the day coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you add the digits for sept, you get 60 or 6. So what's 6 plus 11? 17.
17.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And what's the 2 digits of 21? It adds to 3 or 30. So once again, you have something encoding for Independence Day.
Okay.
It's just a higher level, higher order encoding. It's like a couple levels higher on the octave scale. So anyway, you know how I said all these different things had things in it. Well, I was watching MacGyver, and there's this episode where this young girl was in it, and she was super smart, and she could program these satellites to do what she wanted to do. Of course, the government was interested in what she had, the ability she had, and she considered herself ugly. And she kept referring to herself as the ugly duckling.
Oh.
And she went like over and over again. Like in the show, it was like said about 10 times, ugly duckling. And then MacGyver was trying to break into this computer system and couldn't figure out what the password was. And of course, the password was ugly duckling.
Oh, wow.
So it's like the show was trying to get my attention, right? So for lark, I said, okay, let me add the digits of ugly duckling. And for ugly, you get 65, right? And 65 is also encodes for 7-4, right? So there's that encoding, but 6 and 5 is 11, right? Well, duckling adds to 81. You got 8 and 1 is 9. So there was all these things jumping out of me like, whoa.
Okay.
I don't think it means anything, but my gut impression is those things that are in those phrases that we know, it has to mean something. Maybe we haven't figured it out yet, but it means something.
Yes.
Anyway, that's all I had on that subject.
Interesting.
I just thought it was so interesting. Circumstances. Yes. Another thing I've been contemplating, a while back I'd done some studies. I was thinking about what if we could make a solar cell that used gamma rays to provide energy. We've got all these, waste depositories where we got nuclear waste stored. And I said, well, is it possible to make a solar cell that works at gamma ray frequencies? Yeah.
Sure.
Well, what would be the advantage? Well, one gamma ray is equivalent to at least 1 million regular light rays. So it's got the energy. One gamma ray has the energy of 1 million, white light rays.
Wow.
Okay, that's just from frequency.
Wow.
And then dawned on me, we already have such a device. It's called a Geiger tube, a Geiger-Muller tube. So I dug into it, did a very deep dive, and discovered if you go to the earliest research on a Geiger-Muller tube, you discover they saw some very interesting things. When the Geiger tube works by, it hits the outside metal casing, they'll get gamma ray coming through it, and it kicks off some electrons. And those electrons are moving very fast, and they collide with gas atoms inside the tube.
Okay.
And each time it collides with a gas atom, it kicks off a couple electrons, and those electrons kick off more electrons. So you get this cascade effect where you get this huge fanning out of a large number of electrons. And of course, more electrons, the slower it slows down, right? The speed slows down. And then there's a central electrode in the center that collects those electrons. Well, in the very beginning, they couldn't get a Geiger tube to count because a single, they want to be able to count a single ray, right? They couldn't get it to, because it was too high a current. In the early goings, they were describing problems with it melting the center electrode. And And so what did they do? They added purity gases to the gases inside the Geiger tube. And when that happens, it's less sensitive. And they were able to count the number of gamma rays or X-rays that come through it.
Okay.
Well, the significance is that before that point, it was literally transforming gamma rays into electricity.
Wow.
So there's a fair amount written about that, but I think it's like lost technology.
Mm-hmm. Wow, it does sound like lost technology. I think there's a lot of stuff that we've done in the past and should be doing again.
I'm trying to remember the name. There's a site that has the old documents on the subject.
Okay.
Somewhere on my computer, I've got the name of that site. I just can't remember it.
All right.
They told people to freely download anything you wanted on that site, but they had all kinds of documents about the early days of the Geiger tube, and because I've been thinking for a long time, I realized things were going downhill a long time ago, and I had some friends that probably could tell you this, that I was trying to figure out how to make a phaser,
Mm-hmm.
like a Star Trek phaser.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, okay, well, the biggest problem with making a Star Trek phaser is you got to have something with a heck of a lot of power.
Yeah. Max, before you get into that, I just have to say thank you to the super chat. It came in a little while ago, and I just have to not let too much time pass.
I understand.
Thank you to our cloaked unseen world for the super chat. And Ryan says, I hope things are going well, Aaron. You look good. Oh, thank you. It's been a while since we talked, right? We really should talk eventually. Yes.
Yeah.
You know how to find me. All my love to you. All right. No Cuomo. All right, buddy.
Good.
Cool.
I saw him over on 1 Foot at 5D,
All right.
conspiracy cast the other day. Yeah.
Okay.
They were talking about Ingersoll Lockwood doing a deep dive. I saw Ryan over there.
Okay.
But it was pretty interesting. See some interesting things. Go to the IngersollLockwood.com and search around. They've got all these hidden links.
Mm-hmm.
They don't show up until you move your mouse across them. And so there's all kinds of interesting things in there, including a countdown to something.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you think it is?
I don't know. I haven't looked enough at it. I've just watched a few of these shows to see what they're saying, and it's very intriguing. They're talking about all these technologies that they're in the process of developing now, and
Mm-hmm.
there's even a section in that page about anti-gravity.
Yeah?
And I think it's called Space Force Labs.
Okay.
That's the section on the web page. Space
Force Labs. Interesting.
But there's a lot of real gems in there that are interesting and they're changing. Apparently they're changing every day. They're adding new content every day, and there's a question and answer section. And it said, and one of the questions says, are you guys 17? And they said, no, we're not 17, but we strongly support it,
Mm-hmm.
their movement.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of interesting, good things in there.
Sounds like it, yeah.
I highly recommend people digging into that.
Interesting. Very interesting.
So,
Nicoletta Trumpy Bear says Aaron is Elvis. So I put up a picture of me as Elvis. One of my CD covers.
I think you should talk like Elvis once in a while. I think people would enjoy it. I do every time you do it.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Rock and roll music, if you like it, and if you feel it, you can't help but move to it. That's what happens to me. I can't help it. I've tried standing still, and I can't do it.
Do you sing?
I do. I sing. Yeah. So you can find some of my Elvis videos on my YouTube channel. If you just scroll down a bit, you'll see some. But yeah.
You should get in front of your green screen and you've got to dress like Elvis, and they'll call you Elvis Big Head. So, anyway.
Thank you, Nicoletta Trumpy Bear, for the another super chat. Thank you so much. And she's it's a sticker of a little character with a heart pounding. And another one too. Wow. Thank you so much.
Have you had anybody call in tonight?
Just you. I didn't put the link up yet. And Austin says, Aaron reminds me of Tralian of the Square of Gothos, the Squire of Gothos. I don't know what that is. And Nicoletta Trumpy Bear loves Elvis. Yeah, when I was a kid, I'd listen to Elvis. I'd draw Elvis as I was listening to him. I was just really into Elvis. When I found out what he looked like, I started drawing him and painting him. And when I was in second grade, I would walk home from school and I would try to memorize songs, Elvis songs, because I imagined myself singing them on stage one day. And this was way before karaoke.
Well, I loved it the other day when you were on there talking about how the sheriff that lived that worked just a few blocks down from you, your voice for him. Well, I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah. That was scary. I mean, by the time I hung the phone up, my hand was shaking because I only lived a block and a half from the cop station. So, and I just thought he was going to come and shoot me. I had this fear that he was going to come and shoot me. And indeed, one of the men did come and almost pull his gun on me. So, yeah, I wasn't imagining it.
Well, we're glad that didn't happen.
Yeah. Thanks, Becky. She says, great photo. I don't know if I ever showed this before. Let me see. I'm going to see if I can find, there it is. One of the paintings I did of Elvis. I think I did show this once before.
Oh, cool.
But, so, here we go. This is a watercolor painting I did a while ago of Elvis. It's a pretty big painting. There that is. So that's that. Yeah, it's a lot of fun being Elvis, Of all the people you could be, it's pretty much the funnest guy you could probably be is Elvis.
Do you do a lot of painting too?
Well, I do a fair amount, I guess. Right now I'm working on a children's book and a comic book. So, I do lots of different things. But that's what I'm doing right now. And everything else like that. So there's that painting. So that's that. Yeah.
Highly creative, yeah.
Well, you got to try,
Oh, yeah, well, that's what we're here for.
Okay, where did that go?
Oh, here it is. Now, me, I can't draw worth a darn. It's not in the cards for me.
Mm-hmm.
Long time ago, they had that thing. Can you draw this? If you can't, if so, maybe.
Oh yeah, draw Tippy.
Or something. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I did that actually. I did that. In the back of comic books or magazines, it said draw Tippy, and you could it was art instruction schools. And actually, my my high school art teacher, Mr. Lage, that was his first teaching job, was working at that correspondence art school. And he had nothing but praise to say about the place. So I ended up taking the course. And it didn't take me too long to figure out this is antiquated stuff. They're using tempera paint and this was like the early 80s, late 70s. And it's like, well, something's on the horizon that this is not what it is. I quit. And then I found out that Charles Schultz took the same course and he quit without finishing too. So I'm in good company. So, and it was fun at first, but then it got kind of monotonous and wasn't good.
I can't paint, but I can make some pretty good paints.
Yeah?
I was designing a paint to put in plastics, and there's a new, I'm trying to remember right off the hand what it was, but it's a high-tech version of the old glow-in-the-dark paint.
Oh, yeah? Glow-in-the-dark.
But it's, I'm trying to remember who offers it, but it's not the one that's got a radioactive material in it. It's
right.
And it's not the cadmium sulfide or whatever it is.
Okay.
I think so. I can't even remember what it was, but it was exceptional. And it was fairly cheap, so I had contacted people about whether or not I could get it in the thousands or tens of thousands of pounds, because I wanted to put it in plastics and make, I don't know, railings or decking or something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Or sidewalk things, sidewalk ornaments or something. I was going to, because supposedly this stuff, when the sunlight hits it, it stays bright for hours after the sun goes down.
Oh, okay.
Not just a few minutes.
That's cool. That's a big difference.
So, yeah, I thought, well, wouldn't that be cool if you had like stones leading up to your house that are all glowing, so you could just see them without any other lights?
Yeah, that would be great.
So,
that would be fantastic.
I like inventing things like that, and I discovered I had a knack for plastics.
I like
plastics.
I like plastics too. Yeah. My first job of plastics was designing premiums for cereal boxes and for McDonald's and Burger King. That was a fun job. Fun job.
Well, they're supposed to, I don't know whatever happened. McDonald's came out and were coming out with they're going to have, they were going to have packaging that played songs and sang, and this has been 6 or 7 years ago now.
Okay.
And they just never made it out there.
Wow.
But they had that technology. So I thought it was cool. I don't know if it was, if I'd like it on my food singing to me, but
right.
So that was interesting. As an example of some of the technology we had, I thought it was great.
Yes.
I tried one of those Impossible burgers.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I tried it twice just to make sure I, knew what I was tasting, whatever. The first time, I thought it was okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, you know what? I'm tasting a lot of the ketchup. So I scraped the ketchup off the next time I tried it. It wasn't near as good. So it sort of tastes just like a regular, Whopper. If you had the ketchup with it. But if you took the ketchup away, not so much.
That's interesting. Do you know what's in ketchup up to 17% and they don't have to list it as an ingredient?
Sugar?
Clusol.
What?
Clusol. Clusol? It's a water-soluble plastic derived from trees.
Oh.
And when I was working at Hasbro, the company that made this, that discovered this stuff or is trying to sell it, they brought it to us. And if we could think of any toy ideas to utilize this stuff with. And it was quite fascinating. I mean, some of their research, they did edible packaging. Like they had I think I've said this before, but they had like a what do you call it? A margarine tub, right? So like a plastic margarine tub made out of Colossal. And when you're done with the margarine, you just wipe it all out with a dry paper towel. You put the plastic container in a glass of cold water, stir it, and it dissolves and becomes a chocolate shake or chocolate drink.
Oh.
So you can actually eat the packaging. And it goes through your system. It only leaves a trace of ash, but it's deemed safe. It's totally natural, made from trees. And it's used as a food additive. It's been for years. And at that time, back in the, the 80s, when they did this study. But yeah, it's fascinating. And I thought back then, this was in the early 80s. Wow, if they would have implemented that, we would have very, very much less landfill, you know. But anyway, that was.
I discovered there's a kind of like, it's almost like a mineral product that you can put into plastics, and when you put AC current through it,
Mm-hmm.
you could adjust the amount of AC or the amount of current you put in it, and it'll heat up.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking about, boy, could I make something out of that? You know, like decking or, I don't know, flooring or,
Mm-hmm.
but supposedly it's safe. You know, even though it's got AC going through it, AC current going through it.
How could it be safe? How could that be safe?
It's called bearing tightening.
Okay.
So I was always into these unique materials. Like there's a crystal called lithium niobate that's been around now. Been around since the 70s. But 1 cubic inch of it at that time, they said, could store all the information that man had generated to date. And it stores the information as a hologram.
Okay.
And the thing about it, if you broke the crystal, you could retrieve all of the information that was on the total. It's just be at a lower resolution.
Mm-hmm.
So but they when they gained the ability to cut, they discovered, you know, one of the problems with it is wherever the holograms overlapped, right, in the crystal, there's a loss of information. So obviously, the more you stored in there, the more overlaps you got, right?
Sure.
And so they figured a way around that. They when they gained the ability to cut that crystal into thin slices, which seems pretty amazing they can do that at all, but when they were able to slice it into little thin slices and then put it like some kind of thin insulator in between.
Yeah.
Then they didn't lose all that information from the overlaps.
Wow.
And so they said it really advanced the technology. But imagine this is 70s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what they have now, you know?
Right.
Of course, now they say they can store massive amounts of information in DNA.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, there's no doubt in my mind we have virtually magical technologies at this point in time that are being kept from all of us.
Yes.
And I think that's going to be, it's not too much longer before we'll start to get that. As soon as we start taking the corruption out of this world, it's the corrupt people that have been keeping this from us. They want that power. They want that. They don't want us to have that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
Right. What do
So
we do?
I think it's across every imaginable type of invention. It's medical devices, it's power systems, it's propulsion systems, it's, you know, everything you can think of. They didn't talk about it. I was pretty upset. There was on Space Force News on 1 Foot in 5D. They mentioned it, but they never talked about it. The other night, they claimed there's a patent for a 7 septillion watt generator.
Oh, yeah.
The patent is to the U.S. Navy. I figured that out. That's 7 with 24 zeros after it.
Wow, you could power a lot of Flobies with that.
Yeah. Or it's 7 quintillion megabytes.
Wow. That's more megabytes than I will use in a week.
Yeah. And this is what they patented, you know?
Yeah.
And they got this, you know. So that gives you an idea. Think how much coal or petroleum it takes to power that. It's clearly not being powered by that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you know a lot about all this technical and computer stuff. Maybe you can tell me, because I'm trying to figure out a way how to measure these dad jokes. How many dad jokes per gigabyte? I don't know.
A gigaplex?
A giggleplex?
Yeah.
Maybe. Could be. There's some interesting little things going on in the chat here. So, yeah. So I guess they asked.
What's going on?
They asked Elvis in the 70s. He said no to be recorded as a hologram. Wow. Is that what you're talking about? Interesting. Yeah. Flobies.
Elvis here today, wasn't it?
Yeah. And Trumpy Bear said Flobies LOL. Yeah, I have a Flobie. I bought it from a bald guy. He didn't need it anymore. But he wouldn't go down in price. But yeah, it works great. You know, the vacuum sucks up all the hair. I mean, perfect.
Oh, did you ever see, speaking of hair, did you ever see that guy who was a hairdresser that he had this little tiny, one of those plastic tools out in the front yard, the real thin ones that you buy at Walmart or something.
Okay.
And he put water in it, and he poured it like a quart of oil, spent oil from his car on top of water.
Okay.
And he took a handful of hair that he collected from the barber shop and put it on the water, and all that oil came from every part of that thing and just sucked right into that hair.
Really?
Yeah, and he said the hair is one of the single best things for cleaning up oil slicks. Well,
we should send swimmers out to swim there. We'd go get in their hair and they could just wash it out and they'd be fine.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Get Cousin It. Cousin It could send out Cousin It.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a lot of hair. Yeah. You didn't have to worry about oil spills anymore. Yeah. But, you know, oil is a natural product of the earth. So, you know, I know it's bad for certain environmental things, but all in all, it's natural. It's from the earth. You know, it's not like super toxic. I mean.
Well, there's an interesting thing that Pacific Laboratories, I might have said this once before, that Pacific Laboratories did a study, and some of those studies are available online, where they found that if you put buried sewage underground, and then you put it under pressure, put with water, that the water under pressure would become a super acid catalyst, and it would convert the waste into oil. They actually did that experiment.
Interesting. Have you ever heard of the Kangen water machines?
The what?
The Kangen water machines? Kangen water?
No, I haven't. What is that?
It's a Japanese company. Actually, the Russians discovered this. You take tap water and it goes through this machine and it goes over an electrified plate of platinum, and that splits the water into two hydrolytes, two different kinds of water. One is a acid water, which can take any stain out of the carpet, and you can clean your dishes with it. You don't even need soap, but don't drink it. The other is the alkaline water. It's actually what do you call it when it's prevents cancer, not cancer, but I can't remember what the term is. But it's really interesting stuff, and the Russians discovered this because there are a few places around the world where there are mountains where coming down from these certain mountains, there is water that comes down, and it's called magic water. And people come from like miles, hundreds of thousands of miles away or whatever, and to drink this healing water. And it's the same type of water. It's gone through the same kind of mineral assault that the Kangen machine brings out. And they use this Kangen water to cure lots of different diseases over there in Japan, and they have them in their hospitals. So,
how do you spell it? C-O-N?
No,
C-O-N?
with a K, Kangen. K-A-N. It's been along to G-A-N, Kangen, I think. But yeah, it's really, really antioxidant. The water is antioxidant too. When it comes
I have a hard time understanding how that's possible, but I'm interested in it.
Yeah, they split the water into two different types of water. And the acid water, I'm not kidding you. I had a stain. Actually, my mother had a stain in her carpet. It'd been there for 13 years. I got it out with that stuff. So with just this acid water made from that machine.
I'm familiar with HHO because I had a business partner once that asked me he sent me a videotape once and said, tell me if this is real or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to call a TV station and find out if it's a real TV show, first of all. And it was a Fox News channel. Can't remember, maybe Chicago, I think it was, maybe. And it was real, so I started looking into it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I found 7 patents related to it. And I searched on the individual, found out he's a nuclear physicist, and he had a published paper called Controlled Intermediate Nuclear Fusion.
Whoa.
And it's online, you can find it.
Wow.
The guy is Ruggero Santilli.
Santilli, yeah.
No, not the same Santilli as you're thinking of.
Oh, different Santilli.
Yeah. This guy is a famous physicist.
Okay.
But he discovered that this stuff is real and that it stores intermediate nuclear fusion energies. The water is capable of carrying that kind of energy.
Wow. Yeah.
It was quite impressive. And he kind of hides it in his patents. He doesn't talk about nuclear fusion in his patents, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in his paper, he says patent numbers and he lists the different patents are all examples of this controlled intermediate nuclear fusion.
Okay.
In his paper, he reveals that, yes, these things, that's what I patented, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty impressive. There's like this, all these things hidden kind of in plain sight. If you do enough research, you'll find some of these things.
Sure.
Some of these gems are like, another thing I found is there's something called NRAM.
NRAM.
So negative, it's all capital. Negative resonance absorption of the medium. Okay.
Okay.
And it's basically a long way of saying that at the resonant frequency of material, absorb more light than is physically hitting it.
Okay. Wow.
And this guy did an experiment. He took little particles of aluminum and he subjected it to all kinds of frequencies of light.
Mm-hmm.
And he discovered that the frequencies that made the aluminum resonate, these one micron sized particles acted like they were 180 microns in size.
Okay.
They absorb that much light, and all the media, all the mainstream physicists said, "Oh, this can't be. This is there's no such thing as free energy. This can't be."
Mm-hmm.
And he's been proven right.
Wow.
Okay. Well, it is important because it relates to how UFOs and anti-gravity works. It's a way of producing technologies that kind of hard to imagine. If I told you something was a perfect radiator of heat, would it be hot or would it be cold?
Hot.
Right. Now, if I said something was a perfect absorber of heat, what would it be?
Cold.
Very cold, right?
Yeah.
So NRAMs are near perfect absorbers of energy. Okay. So they'll be cold, and if you have a perfect absorber and it absorbs one frequency selectively, let's say it absorbs the frequency of consciousness, which is terahertz frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
Then this device would absorb the consciousness of the universe.
Mm.
Okay, and so it would be literally like the Akashic record. You would have what I call the universe wide web available to you.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to have something to screen that information. You'd have to essentially have a browser, right? You can't. It's like you accessing all of the internet all at once. Well, it's not going to happen. You can't take it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because you can browse one page at a time, yes, you can. Your brain can handle one page at a time, or most of us can anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same kind of idea. The information's all there. It's just you have to have a way of browsing it. So anyway, that's called NRAM. Well, I went looking for those papers to prove that it is already found acceptance. And there's a paper from the National Radio Astronomy Observatory over in West Virginia, where a scientist used this phenomenon to detect gases on distant planets that they can't, they can barely see, right?
Mm-hmm.
What they do is they look for a particular frequency, and they use these NRAMs, and it essentially magnifies the signal dramatically,
Mm-hmm.
so they can actually measure the presence of oxygen or water on a planet that's hundreds of or even thousands of light years away.
Wow.
I always wondered how they detect. How can they tell there's water on that planet?
Right. They can
But
tell.
that technology NRAM. There's a few papers that tell how they do it.
Okay. Interesting. You find all these interesting things that it seems like nobody else knows, or very few people know, or at least.
Oh, that's what I love finding. So I search and search and search and search.
You're the king of the obscure, cool things, huh?
Those are the things where there's new discoveries to be made, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I worked as a scientist at a couple of big companies, most people, when they did an experiment, if it didn't go the way they wanted, they just threw the product away, or a waste as waste. And that didn't work. Go on to something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times, it should have worked, and because it didn't, they should have studied it. I had one example like that, where everybody told me what the result of the experiment should give me, as a product, and it wasn't there.
Wow.
And I told them it wasn't there. I said, that's impossible. You don't know what you're doing. I said, no, I'm telling you, it made this. How do you know it made that? So I took it to the analytical department. I said, analyze this. They sent it through GC and mass spectrometer, and they said, this is what it's made. That can't be. There's no theory that allows that. I said, I know. That's like being you ask for what you think.
Yeah. Right.
And those things happen if people are paying attention to the failed experiments.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And you know what? I was once working for a firm in Minneapolis, near Minneapolis. It was a toy invention firm. And I was working on a tabletop game, fairly good sized game, kind of like an action game. And I had to make like a wall to go around it. So I made a wall out of just tag board. Well, I bumped it off my desk. It fell on the floor and it flexed in this really cool way. And I thought, wow, what if the walls of the game flexed? And then I came up with something that we ended up selling to Parker Brothers. And we got, it was called Ripshot. And
cool.
They paid us the highest front money of that any toy inventor has ever gotten for that game. There was no electronics to it at all. It was all mechanical. It's a fabulous game.
Was it the Post-it notes?
Pardon?
Was it the Post-it notes failure initially, right?
Yeah, the glue. They were trying to make a glue and the glue didn't work, and they said, "Oh, well, what if we put on little pieces of paper?"
Yeah, initially they were going to throw it away. That's a failed experiment. And somebody said, no.
Right. Yeah, I'll Ripshot. I'll see if I can find a picture of it. But it ended up not coming out in the early 90s when they purchased it. It came out by another company years later.
I bet there are a bunch of people that have ideas out in your audience there. That's a really good idea. Everybody does. You just don't think they're good enough, and so you don't say anything. And sometimes those are the best. Yeah. It takes more than one person looking at it often. Somebody will say something and says, "Oh, that's so cool! You can do this with it." And you never can see what they're talking about until they said it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, nothing's coming up in my, must not be on this computer. But yeah, it's a great game. Yeah.
What was it called again?
Ripshot.
Ripshot?
Yeah, Ripshot.
Ripshot.
Yeah, it's a 2-player fast action head-to-head boys action game.
Like Rest in Peace Shot? R.I.P.
Rip, yeah, R.A.P. Ripshot.
R.I.P. Ripshot.
Yeah, it was a dumb name. That's the name they named it. My original name for the game was Berserk, which is a much better name. But
well, they have a game named that, don't they?
They do. Well, actually, there is another game, but it was owned by the company we sold it to, or their sister company. They both were owned by Hasbro, but they didn't want to use that name. So, but it actually fit the game a little bit better. Okay,
there were I remember a lot of cool games when I was growing up, but they don't have anything like them now.
I know they everything in the past was better. And I've been thinking about this, the way they collected garbage in the past was better. You didn't have to physically go out there and move your cans all over the place all the time. At least that's what we have to do here. We never had to do that when I was a kid. you know, kids can't have a business anymore. You used to be able to be a paper boy or paper girl. That's a lost thing, you know.
What? They don't do that anymore?
No, they're all auto, you know, motor routes by adults because you can make money at it. But I was a paper boy. I loved that, being a paper
That's
boy.
awful.
It was a great, it really did a lot for me, you know. I think.
Oh yeah.
It was a great thing for a kid to start a little business like that. It really teaches you a lot of stuff. I earned a trip, like a vacation, like a 3-day vacation or 4-day or something like that, where we went out snowmobiling at this place. It was pretty cool.
Did you show up at people's doors and say, I want my $2?
Yeah, I used to go collecting. I went collecting, and I had a really cool collection book that my dad made me. It was made out of clear plexiglass. And so,
do you know what movie that's from?
No.
I think it's Ferris Bueller's Day Off, isn't it?
Oh boy, you know.
$2. I want my $2.
Oh, I don't remember that. It's been many years since since I did that. Wow. I'm trying to find a picture of the rip shot since I mentioned it. I really need to find it somewhere amongst all these things I have. No, it looks like I don't have it.
You know, I'm a nerd because I get together with some of my friends once in a while. And we sit there, try to name all the cartoons we can remember as kids.
Mm-hmm.
And George of the Jungle.
Oh yeah, that's a great show. Yeah, I like that, George of the Jungle. That was a great one.
There's all kinds of things. Johnny Quest.
Oh yeah,
Scooby-Doo.
Johnny Quest was great. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of those. Combined Miniature Defense Forces. That's one most people haven't heard.
Never heard of that one.
CMDF. That's the one that is based upon the Fantastic Voyage movie.
Yeah.
And they're shrinking every episode. They're shrinking people down to do something.
Okay. You know what, Max? Why don't you talk to the folks here, say something. I'll run really quick and get the box that the rip shot was packaged in.
Oh, cool.
Okay. I know right where it is.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
You can even time me if you want.
Good.
And away I go.
Aaron's good. Huh?
Take her away.
Okay. Aaron's got all these cool stories. I'm anxious to hear what this is about. So, I hope everybody's doing well today. It's a lot of fun hearing and talking to Aaron.
All right.
He has so many stories. I keep telling him he needs to tell more of his stories. I know I love them, so I'm sure you do too.
Okay.
He's got a great mind.
Here it is. Here it is. Rip shot. Now this, as it appears here, never appeared on the market. It almost did, but something happened. But as you can see, the walls here move. You got joysticks with a button. You can move the flippers, and you can ram the wall, and really do some pretty cool stuff. Here's an actual picture of them playing it in the back. It's a lot of fun. You can just ram it. It's so cool. It's so much fun. One of the kids that we tested, the kid said, "Wow, you got to get mean to play this game. It's a very visceral game." And so yeah, Rip Shot. Now it did appear in the market a few years ago by a different company, and they made it out of different colors, like white and green, and it just doesn't look as cool.
Yeah.
But this is the purple and the black. I think it looks great. And yeah. 120.
You need a website so you can put some of this stuff on it.
$125,000 front money, which was the most they'd ever given in their 125-year history. Front money against future royalties. Yeah, non-refundable. And they gave us a $270,000 in development fees too. No, a Trumpy Bear. No, that's not. It was my concept, but I was under contract when I designed it. So it does not. That's one of my inventions that sadly does not belong to me, because I was working for somebody, getting a paycheck, and now that I'm not there, they can still make money off my idea. I don't get anything. So that's a big bummer, but oh well.
I have an invention out there that I didn't make a dime off of, but I'm really happy. It's being used everywhere.
Yeah.
I invented a way to get rid of waste tires.
Yeah, tires. That's a big problem.
It turns out you grind up tires, a pound of ground up tire has twice the energy content as a pound of oil.
Really?
Yeah, and because the chemicals used in making the tire so that the tire will stay together properly.
Mm-hmm.
This is chemicals that you couldn't afford to add for the purpose of making it clean burning, but tires will actually clean up the emissions from a coal-fired power plant.
Okay.
If you replace 5% of the coal with the crumb rubber that comes from grinding up tires,
yeah,
it'll reduce the overall sulfur emissions by 95%.
Yeah, but won't it smell like burning rubber though?
No.
No?
No, when it burns hot enough, it burns very clean.
Okay.
Well, anyway, we found out how to get. There was a place that had 3 million tires, and basically the Iowa Department of Environment Conservation told this company, you've got 90 days to get rid of 3 million tires.
Whoa.
And I happened to be there.
Tire sale.
And they were worried about that. It was near a big city, not a big city, but in the middle of the city, and they're afraid it was going to catch on fire and burn the city down. Not to mention all the mosquitoes that breed in the fires. And so I was there to do some kind of like an environment and safety audit.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, hey, we got this problem. Can you help us figure out what to do? And I said, well, I'll try.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I wasn't getting anywhere. I said, they showed me the different products they had. They had some big, like 4-inch chunks of a tire.
Mm-hmm.
And the other product was this finely ground powder like stuff, right? And I said, well, so I looked at the powder stuff, and of course I found some places they could burn it. And that's when we discovered it actually burns quite clean.
Wow.
And then, but that wasn't going to get rid of 3 million tires. So,
right.
So my buddy said, let's go over to the casino this evening. And the casino was, I don't know, 30, 40 miles away. And there was more restaurants over there. So we'll just go over there, go out to eat, go check out the casino, and then come back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on the way back, he was telling me about how I think it's called the Quad Cities, how they had this giant landfill they were building, colossal thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people were up in arms because, landfills are not exactly the thing people want in their backyard.
No, not usually.
And they said, talk about that. And all of a sudden I had a eureka moment. I said, I know how to get rid of the tires.
Yeah.
He says, what, throw them in the landfill? I said, no. He says, do you know why landfills fail? Why they have to close down landfills?
Why? Because they get full?
Well, no. It's because they they don't drain anymore.
Hmm.
You know, the liquid from the degrading garbage has to go and be collected, and you know, and when it doesn't drain anymore, they have to shut down the landfill. Well, the reason it doesn't drain over time is when they make a landfill, especially a more modern landfill, they lay down like a plastic barrier, right? And then they, on top of that barrier, they put rock chunks. And when you know it, they use limestone as the rock chunks of choice. But what happens when acidic waste from degrading garbage hits limestone? Anybody know?
No.
What does acid do to limestone?
Dissolves it?
Yeah, it causes it to form carbon dioxide, and it kind of fizzes and falls apart. Well, that's why it stops draining, because it basically dissolves a rock and it kind of collapses down on itself. Stops draining. Well, I said, why don't we put the chunked rubber down in the new landfill instead of the rock? And lo and behold, we got rid of 3 million tires that way, and now it's used worldwide.
Wow! Congratulations! Wow, that's fantastic.
Because it doesn't degrade the rubber. See, it adds 30 to 50 years to the life of each landfill. So, well, I got a new innovation coming with that.
Oh yeah.
I discovered there's a thing out there. I mean, somebody could beat me to it. That's fine. I'll tell you, if somebody wants to go out and do it, they're fine. They're welcome to do it.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to do it if nobody else does. There are these catalysts out there called ionic liquids. You can research it. Ionic liquids, and they're the newest thing. They discovered that normally it would take paper or wood products. If you wanted to degrade into sugars, you had to heat them up with strong acids like sulfuric acid and steam to get them to decompose, right?
Okay.
And usually you get a certain amount of charring, so you really only got maybe 20% of the sugars out of the paper, and then the rest of it was char.
Okay.
Well, these ionic liquids, when you spray them on paper, in a matter of a few hours at room temperature, they will dissolve the paper at almost 100% efficiency to make glucose sugars, and they'll just run out. So the idea is this: you spray this on top of the landfill, and literally within a couple of years, all the paper dissolves and runs out of the landfill.
Wow.
And of course, they can collect that, and they can make ethanol out of it or whatever. But the big thing is, once you take the paper out, which is about 40% of the total volume in the landfill, then suddenly everything else that's left is a whole lot easier to recycle. You know, you can start removing the plastics more economically. You can remove the metals more economically, and you can see a day in which they would actually go and mine those landfills. You know, at a certain time. But anyway, so that's a new idea that I've been working on for some time. But
that's cool. That's awesome. I've been putting up some pictures of Trump that I did, Super Trump. So that's always fun. I got one more thing to show you here. Now, I did not do this art here. I wish I did, because it's pretty good. It's Trump as Elvis.
Trump as Elvis, that's pretty good.
The King of Washington. It's pretty cool. It's pretty freaking cool. I like it. Yeah. You know, Trump was the most entertaining president we've ever had.
Oh, yeah.
Not only was he the most effective and the most popular, You know, I didn't see any boat parades for Biden. You know, I saw a meme.
Yeah.
It said, well, Biden finally has a boat parade. And it showed a picture, must have been from some flood where there's a bunch of caskets floating around. So,
or the Titanic.
Well, yeah, but the idea is his voters are all, you know, deceased. So there they are floating around. That's his Trump. That's his boat parade. But yeah, the definitely the most effective president ever, and the most patriotic, I think, president we've ever had.
Oh yeah, there's no question.
I think you know, I used to think that about Reagan, because Reagan made a lot of people feel
it was pretty patriotic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, leading our army.
Yeah.
Not wanting to serve as a leader.
I love listening to Andy talk about when he met General George Washington. So fascinating. So fascinating.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. He said he had this electric kind of this charisma.
Oh yeah, the way he was describing him, it was great to listen to. It's fun.
Cool, Nicoletta. So you must be friends with Don Jr. That's pretty cool. He's a great guy. I love watching his videos. He's a pretty cool guy.
Does he got some good videos? I haven't seen any of him.
Oh yeah, he puts out great videos all the time. But yeah, so Nicoletta Trumpy Bird just took a screenshot of this, and she's going to send it to. I'm sure he's
a guy over there on. I think it was on 1 Foot in 5D, the conspiracy couch. There's a guy on there. He, I think that's where I saw it. The guy was dropping a link to, and he had the password to where he can download the forbidden Tesla patent.
Wow. Forbidden Tesla patent.
He had discovered how to get into this thing.
Now, who did
and
this?
He gave you the password.
Who did this?
Some guy that was calling into the conspiracy couch, the one on Ingersoll Lockwood.
Oh, Ingersoll Lockwood. Okay.
It was on that show. Ryan might remember. Isn't Ryan a big Tesla guy?
Yeah, he is. I'm not sure if he's still in the chat.
Okay.
But now, Mr. Dennison, Tony Dennison said Biden is pathetic, or Biden is patriotic. Patriotic. Funny, I read that as pathetic. Biden is patriotic, Chinese patriot at Aaron Moriarty. Yeah, he is definitely a Chinese patriot. Yeah, he's not. If he's playing checkers, I guarantee it's Chinese checkers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, that's the difference.
I like the definition of patriot, meaning you're connected to source, and in which case Biden's definitely not connected to the source.
Right. Right.
He's a patriot. Yeah.
Yes, I did a meme like that.
Or a traitor.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a welcome to Bizarre World, land of pinos, rhinos, and albinos.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
So we're all hoping something will happen soon.
Yeah, gosh.
There are more and more people coming on board, and more people are awake than people realize.
Mm-hmm.
If you listen to the mainstream media, you wouldn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're making it sound like everybody's on their side. That's not the case.
Right.
But they still put up their show, you know. Who was that? I think a Black Conservative Patriot had somebody on there was showing that there was some evidence that some of what we're seeing in the media about what's going on there is not true at all. I mean, that
right.
Even some of the Taliban footage they've moderated. This guy was claiming they've moderated that. They were laughing about people thinking they were the same people as they were before.
Mm-hmm.
That even that's all an act.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know if I believe that, but I hope so.
Yeah.
That'd be great if they're overall better people than we thought. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just posted a little meme I made. Now there's one photo on there that has the copyright for the photo taker, but I made the meme. It's on the left is the Trump supporters, on the right is the Biden supporters. Okay, so on the left it says Trump supporters, on the bottom, on the top it says Free Patriots. It shows people at a Trump rally and a boat rally. And the paid Hatriots are the Biden supporters. They're tipping over cars and they're setting cars on fire. Paid Hatriots, Free Patriots, and paid Hatriots. So there you go. Yeah, I just it just boggles your mind how they could just do this and still convince people that they're not doing it. You know, it's amazing. But you know what? I saw something today. It was, what was it called? The 25 Generation Project or something. So these scientists, a long time ago, like in the 40s, they did this experiment with mice, and they had this rather large area, and they had plenty of food and plenty of water and space for the mice. And for several generations, they got along great. But then after a certain amount of generations, there became these bullies that would like attack other these males that would go around and attack other males, and a lot of cannibalism started, even though there was plenty of food. And so that they likened it to society, and it was an experiment showing that if you give your subjects everything they need to live, they'll live, but they'll degenerate fairly rapidly. And they got to a point where there was a zero reproduction rate. And so this idea of the left that, you know, they want to just everyone stay at home, never go anywhere, and we'll send you a check so you can buy, you know, powdered milk and survive on that, right? So that's what happens. It'll end up being the end of humanity, really. So it's a thanks, Kelly. Good meme, she said. And that's great. Happen. Thanks, Nicoletta Trumpy Bear.
We're not going to let it happen.
No. The good guys always win. It's just that until the good guys are winning, it's just really frustrating. But we got to all be patient. We got to be patient.
Right.
It's like that guy. There's this guy who somehow something happened to him. He's shrinking in size. And his doctor said, well, you're just going to have to be a little patient.
Oh, another bad joke.
Oh, yeah. Better be.
I didn't see that one coming either. Like,
you're going to have to be a little patient. So there you go. Now, there was a movie along those lines, an old movie. I think they remade it in recent years, but the old movie was great. The Incredible Shrinking Man. Highly recommend the original. It was great.
We look like we're in this day and age. It's so scary. You're like, I wonder when they're going to have. I think there is a place actually that started that's called the Soylent Green.
Yeah, right.
A company called Soylent.
Yeah.
Remember that movie, boy?
Yeah, boy. I don't know where that fascination comes from. I don't even bite my nails. I mean, I don't know how people could do that. I mean,
Soylent Green is people.
Yeah. The green crackers are people. Yeah. Well, they're bulldozing people in the streets. It's
There's
almost
actually a company named that now, right? So
yeah, yeah, that's right. And there's also a meat called real people meat.
What?
Yeah, real people meat. Made by real people, I think is what they mean, but it looks, but with all the bad people around in power, it wouldn't surprise me, Red Pill 78 just did a show highlighting that Seminex company that makes food flavoring from human fetal stuff, nasty, terrible stuff. But yeah, Doritos and things like this. A lot of your mainstream popular stuff is flavor enhanced with something you don't want to be ingesting. So
what was I listening to just recently where somebody was, the news. The news. What was the product? Some product was loaded. Oh, I know what it was. It was a program where you got Dr. Bob and some other doctor saying how there's scammers out there using their names for a CBD product.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they were trying to fight this, because then when they got a hold of actually the product they were selling and discovered it was 5 times higher than safe levels of lead in it.
Oh boy.
That they were literally killing people with this product.
Wow.
And so they're trying to fight it. But it begs the question, how much of that is going on in, say, our food?
Yeah,
is there adequate testing of the food to know whether some of these big companies are doing that to us?
Yeah. I just think that the whole idea of mass-produced food is just kind of disgusting. I mean, who's watching the guys? Who's watching? What are they throwing in the vat?
Right.
What are they dumping in the vat? Yeah, I don't know. Grow your own food. Grow your own food. When you eat
Corona beer at one time, people were putting urine in their own beer, I remember.
Oh boy. Yeah, there were some guys here at a Taco Bell that did some nasty stuff too. Very, very horrible, horrifying. Yeah. Growing your own food, I think that's going to be the key. Have you seen these things? They look like a big refrigerator, but they're clear, and they got all these shelves. You pull them out, and they got these LED lights. You grow herbs and little plants in it in your kitchen, and you can grow stuff in your kitchen. I think that's, I also think that grocery stores should grow food. I mean, they have the sprinklers there, right? They could do hydroponics so easy. I don't know. They should do that, but people could do it too. If
I was growing at one time. I was growing like 11 different kinds of mushrooms.
Really?
Yeah, it was kind of fun. I learned about a new one lately. Lion's mane. It's great. It tastes like lobster.
Okay.
And it has a lot of medicinal benefits. It's very good for cognitive decline, and it's supposed to be a very powerful anti-inflammatory. I had a buddy who says that he has to walk up 8 flights of stairs, up and down 8 flights of stairs 10 times a day.
Oh my!
And he started taking these lion's mane capsules, and all of a sudden he can go up and down that without a lot of pain. So I don't know.
Wow.
They kind of want to try it. I'm interested in what he has to say, but you don't know. I do believe he is, though.
Interesting.
And I know he wouldn't lie to me. So.
Right.
So, and then there's a lot of cool research that shows that the mushrooms are very interesting on the planet as far as what they do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can degrade. They have enzymes that can degrade, chemical waste, all kinds of things.
Uh-huh. I like mushrooms, but the one thing that I remember this from back when I was a kid, many, many moons ago, many years ago, way back before the turn of the century, the world's leading expert on mushrooms died from eating poison mushrooms that he found in his backyard or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I remember this story. It's like, wait a minute. If the world's leading expert on mushrooms can't tell, then how am I supposed to know that the mushroom in front of me is,
Yeah, you gotta know what you're doing.
Yeah. I don't. Plus, you don't know if a weasel whizzed on it.
Well, you gotta wash them.
Wash the weasel whiz off. Yeah. Yeah.
I tried when I was trying to grow, and then somebody's perfected this actually. The morel mushroom.
Oh yeah, the morels. Yeah, those are great.
And again, do they grow up in your neck of the woods?
I think they do. Yeah. Yeah. They have trilliums up here. Have you heard of trilliums? They're little flowers.
Never heard of them.
They're little white flowers, and it's illegal to pick them.
That sounds like something that was in one of the Star Trek episodes where they.
Oh yeah, the tribbles. Yeah, the trillium. They're beautiful little white flowers, dainty little white flowers. They grow in the woods, And I used to pick them all the time. And someone said, "You can't pick those; it's illegal." I said, "Well, there's no sign. What are you talking about?" And the funny thing, the weird thing is about it though, the area where they were growing was an area where they were building new condos. So they're going to be destroyed. I mean, you can't pick them, but we can destroy thousands of them to make it, to put a building. Yeah, if you're going to make a flower, endangered, not supposed to pick it, put a sign next to it. How are we supposed to know? I don't know. But yeah.
Well, I don't know if you've heard this. I don't know. There seems to be some truth to it. That wherever you find a poisonous plant, they're within 20 feet. There's
the cure.
There's the cure for it.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
So
I have heard that for sure. Okay.
I saw that somewhere. Where was it? I don't know what it was, but I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
People are claiming that's true.
Wow. I just found a picture. I'm going to share this picture on out here. And it's just a beautiful picture of irises that I took years ago. And it's just a beautiful picture of purple iris flowers with other flowers in the background. It was from Frontier Wilderness Campground in Sturgeon, in Egg Harbor, Wisconsin, where I used to live. Whoa, are you okay?
That's so cool. Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
There's a fan. You probably heard the fan or something.
All right. Yeah, something.
It sounds like a hurricane or something.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I saw this video one time, I think, where they showed what things look like to be.
Mm-hmm.
They're showing all these flowers, and which, it's because they can see, I guess they can see, I think, ultraviolet or something maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And they're showing which plants would really look bright to them and which ones would,
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool what they.
Uh-huh. Oh, Tony Dennison said, "My brother-in-law sends us mushrooms he picks from Sweden. I don't trust him, so I don't eat them." I wonder what he pays for shipping on those. You better tell him. No, he can save some money.
I love the right mushrooms. They're good. Yeah.
Venus flytraps.
Mushrooms,
Venus flytraps. Those are cool.
oh, yeah, that's cool.
I'm sorry.
Not to eat though, I don't think.
No, they're fun to feed.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, what are those other things? The pitcher plants. They got the giant pitcher where the flies smell like rotting flies or something.
Oh yeah. They go down into the flower and they to their demise. Yeah. And they get absorbed.
Drown in cool water or something.
You know what's interesting? You're familiar with Billy Meyer, right? He's the one-armed Swiss farmer who's photographed hundreds or thousands of UFOs and filmed them. He claims that he was taken to this other planet, or maybe it was Earth in an earlier stage. He doesn't know. And somewhere you can find this video of someone paging through these photographs in his album of Billy Myers. Those photos are now gone. They were stolen, but one of them was of a plant with eyes. Like it had eyes, and the beings told Billy that said that this is how insects evolve. They start as part of the plant, and then that part over time becomes autonomous and can detach. And that's why you have a symbiotic relationship between certain insects and certain plants, because that's where they came from. Now, when you look at a plant's cell, they're kind of rectangular shaped. If you look at the cell of an insect, they're rectangular shaped. So I think that there might be something to that.
Well, you look at chlorophyll, the plants use to get their energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar in structure to hemoglobin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they each have some central part, and then of course in hemoglobin they got iron, and the chlorophyll they got magnesium.
Mm-hmm.
But they both serve a role to essentially convert things into energy.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty amazing, actually.
Yes.
So,
I'm doing a quick. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I wasn't.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What was that? Something's making noise. Oh, you know what? I don't know. It's some. I have one of my open tabs must have some sound on it. There, I think.
I heard some music.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where. I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from. Oh, I tell you, all this technology. Oh, I think it was. That's what it was from. I think that's where it's from. Let me see. I don't see any other. Let's see if I can. Okay, there we are, back to normal. Boy, that was strange. Some weird sounds. So I'm doing a little search here, see if I can try to find that Billy Meyer picture.
And he says, "This is who told him this about the plants and
the extraterrestrials that took him to." It was either another planet or it was Earth in its early days.
Oh.
I'm not seeing a picture of it. I had to do a screenshot from the video. Somewhere I have that picture, but I just don't know where it is. But yeah, if you, I guess if you go on YouTube and look up Billy Meyer photo album, then you might be able to find it. And it's very strange. but it sort of makes a lot of sense. And when I first heard that, I did some research and I found out that the cells, you know, like our cells are kind of round, mammal cells, but insect cells they look more like plant cells to me. But who knows? And that, you know, look at walking sticks, and there's a lot of, you know, insects that look like leaves, right? So it's not it's not too hard to imagine that that's where they actually came from. You know,
That's pretty well.
Isn't it?
Huh.
You know,
Yeah.
It's like an evolutionary jump. Like, okay, I'm a plant, I'm growing. Nothing is, you know, nothing's pollinating. We need to make our own little detachable little creatures to crawl around and you know, pollinate.
I remember the first time I was messing around with a praying mantis, and he grabbed my finger. Oh my God, that would hurt.
Oh, really? Yeah, they can chomp. They can eat almost anything. Did they break the skin?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I had we used to, as a kid, I had a buddy that had apple trees.
Yeah.
And we used to go for fun. Get this. For fun, we used to challenge each other. We'd go see who could catch the most cicadas.
Mm.
Now, you can get up these apple trees, and if you're real careful, you got to be real fast. You get right behind them and grab them.
Okay.
And of course, they're buzzing in your fingers, right? And they're trying to get away. And if you don't grab them just right, they turn around and they got this thing that they suck sap out of the tree with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about that inch long, and they bury that thing into your finger.
Wow.
And that hurts like you wouldn't believe.
Wow.
So if you got that happen to you more than once, we start doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like one of those stupid things that kids do to, you know, show who's braver, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh.
Well, I can do this, I can do this, and then you know, until you get nailed by one of those things.
Yeah. Oh, the kids in our school did something really bad. Really, really bad. Okay. So it looks like I found. Okay. I found
But we always let them go after we grab them, you know.
I found the video, but it's like it's on Pinterest. I don't. I guess I'm on Pinterest, but I never go on it. I just think it's dumb. I don't know how to do it. Who knows? You know. But so the video's out there. I was going to put a link, but oh, there's the link right here.
I remember when I was a kid, the first trapdoor spider I ever found. I didn't know what this thing was, a little round hole.
Uh-huh.
This round hole, well, it's about, when I say little, it's about 1.5 inches across. And it had this 2 little holes in it, and I was snapping a little stick. I mean, it's not very long stick at all. It was like 3-inch long stick, like a twig.
Mm-hmm.
I snap it into it, like, what the heck is this? And all of a sudden, the spider jumps out at it. And I about wet myself.
Oh boy.
I didn't expect that, you know.
Wow.
It just kind of leaped out of the hole at the stick, and I'm like, ah!
Right. Okay, I'm gonna put that video in the chat here. So that is the video I was talking about that goes through Billy Meyer's album. I'm not sure if he covers that. I just did a quick search. If this doesn't have that in it, check another one. Yeah, you dislike Pinterest too, Dark Brain? Yeah. It's just too weird. Plus,
I was reading about this. You ever read about that plateau? I think it's in, what is that, Northwest South America? What's the name of that country? Ecuador.
Okay.
Ecuador. And in Ecuador, there's this plateau that supposedly is the basis for Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World.
Okay.
And they really haven't really nobody that knows been on top of that plateau.
Uh-huh.
It's just so high, it's in the clouds.
Uh-huh.
And they say it really is an area in the world where nobody really knows what life will find up there.
Uh-huh.
So I find it very intriguing.
There's so many
people who've tried to get there say they spent a year like getting a mile closer to the place.
Uh-huh.
So that, you know, most of their expeditions are not long enough to even get to it.
Uh-huh.
So nowadays, though, I would think they'd send drones up there, you know, just to see what they could see.
Mm-hmm.
So it fascinates me what lies in the middle of the Amazon, you know, rainforest, you know.
Yeah.
There was that study. That show on. What was that show with all the guy who catches all these fish, gigantic fish and strange fish all around the world?
I have no idea.
I don't remember. Somebody probably knows what it is.
Sure.
Anyway, he went to South America looking for this. I think it's called arapaima fish, and it's out deep parts of the Amazon. And he gets on the way there. He stopped at this village, and there's not many people there. He says, "So, you know, where is everybody? You know, the big snake come." And they're like, "What do you mean big snake?" You know, so they get, "Are they scared of a little snake?" He says, and then they say, "Mouth, it's big." And they showed it, and the guy was like, sort of his hand was like 2 or 3 feet wide. He says, "Mouth, it's big." You know?
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, "What?" He said, "What?" He says, you want to see? And he said, "Yeah, I want to see."
Wow.
So he took them out there, and I kid you not, the trail the snakes made was 3 or 4 feet wide.
Wow.
And he gets back to the end of this, and there's these gigantic holes in the side of the hillside.
Mm-hmm.
The hole's probably 3 feet diameter.
Mm-hmm.
They live down there during the day,
Mm-hmm.
and then they come out at night. So we don't want to be here,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And so he was going to do another whole episode on that, but there's evidence of gigantic anacondas in South America, maybe 100 feet long.
Wow. That's too big for me.
You know?
Too big for me.
Oh yeah. I mean, the way he described, a lot of the villagers left the village. They're dangerous to humans.
Uh-huh.
So can you imagine? No. I don't want to see that. I'd like to see it from afar, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So,
wow.
and there's all the stories on them. You know that other parts of the Amazon that are highly organized, like it was once farmland in the distant past.
Yeah.
There's evidence, like, you know, it's organized like farms.
Mm-hmm.
So
interesting. Let's see. All righty then. We're coming up on midnight, buddy. I wonder if we should put a cap on this one. What do you think? River monsters, Austin says. Your river monsters.
That's it.
That's the name.
That's it.
That's what you were looking for.
Yeah, that's a good one. The one with the arapaima.
Yeah.
Seek that one out. That if you want to be. Well, that arapaima itself is pretty amazing. But that one, they take it aside and look for this giant anaconda. If you like stuff like that, you'll like that episode.
I don't know, man. Big snakes.
It's like season season 2 or 3, I think.
I saw a big yellow snake in my backyard a couple years ago, and it was like about this big around, about a foot round, and very long. Very long. It was huge. It was huge. I couldn't believe how big it was. It was long. I was mowing the lawn, and my backyard has some like hilly areas in it, and I was like tilting the lawnmower up, and tilting it like a push mower, and all of a sudden, it must have been where it was hiding or where his home was or something, and it scurried out, and it slithered down in my backyard. There's like a cement area, and then a brick area that went out to where the pool used to be, and it went down there, which there's no outlet. It would be trapped. I ran down there. It was gone. Like it disappeared. It just absorbed into something. I don't know if it teleported or what, but it just freaked me out. It was so huge.
That's not typical for any snake in the United States.
It was
nothing that big.
Well, maybe it was 8 inches in diameter.
Well, still, even that.
It was yellow. It was kind of a pale yellow.
I've never heard of anything that big.
Pale yellow. Well, some people think it might have been someone's pet, but it wasn't my pet. But
well, maybe. But I don't want to see that, I guess.
Yeah, it was frightening. And now it's like, where'd he go? And where is he? I don't know where he is.
Yeah, I surely want to know.
I hope he's eating lots of mice. That's all I care,
Something that big is going to be eating local animals.
Probably, yeah. I better watch my step out there.
How long ago was this?
A few years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago. But I would imagine, if it's not from this climate, like it was a pet,
right,
maybe it would freeze or something. I don't know. Maybe they have to go underground to some point where they're not going to be. Nicoletta Trump Bear says, I posted one video on the hominoculas. Now I forgot how to say it. I'll have to scroll back and practice that. Oh, good. You posted one of those videos on your channel, Nicoletta Trumpy Bear. So go check out her channel and check that out. Excellent. Very cool. Well, Maxwell Smart, what would you like to leave our audience with tonight? And I want to thank everyone for coming. I also want to give a special thanks to Nicoletta Trumpy Bear for all the super chats and stickers. It sure made it a lot of fun and helps to keep the show going. We're on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday nights. We start between 9 and 10, usually around 10. And then sometimes on the weekend. So Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, come on back, bring all your friends. And we'll have a great ramble.
I guess I'd like to say I'd love to see more people get on here and talk some more and tell us what they're interested in and some of their stories. And
yes. She put it in my comments. Oh, thank you, Nicoletta. Okay, that's great. So I'm sorry.
I know they've got to have some great stories out there. Everybody does.
Yeah.
Even when they think even people that think their lives are boring or whatever, that's usually not the case. You got more things going on than you think you got going on.
Yeah. Now I want to say something before we sign off, Maxwell, that our viewers might not realize. Now, this gentleman here who calls in, Maxwell Smart, we're very lucky to be hearing from this man. He's a very intelligent man. He knows a lot of things. And now, correct me if I'm wrong. Now, do you call into other shows, or is this the only show you call into?
Well, that's the only one I'm calling into right now, anyway.
Aha, the only one. So if you want to hear Maxwell Smart, you got to come back here. But I have a feeling he's going to be broadening his horizons here.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'd like to have my own channel one of these days. I really, believe it or not, it's an area I'm not particularly good at. So I'm trying to learn from others, and I think you're in that same boat, Aaron, right?
Yeah, I learn something new every day.
Trying to figure out how to do different things with the channels.
I learn something new every day, and then I forget 3 other things.
So, but I enjoy. You have all these great stories and great people, and it's fun.
Yeah, and
if I can add some interesting stories along the way, that's great.
You are. Yeah, I really enjoy having you here, and boy, the chat sure loved you. And I got to say, we got the best chat people on the intranet. I got to say, Austin Morris, Nicola Trumpy Bear, Dark Brain. Who else we have here? I'm just reading who has Celestial Soul. Lars Borland, glad to see you here. Nestle does too, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think they use that bad supplement for stuff. Celestial Soul. Who else was here? Becky, thank you very much, Becky. She was the first one here today. But thank you to everybody, even if I didn't mention you. You're all important. Remember, nobody's above anybody else. We're all equal. Where we go one, we go all. And we'll see you.
Everybody has a huge number of hidden talents. Mm-hmm. Everybody does.
Yes. I will see you Friday night at around 10-ish, something like that. Join us. Bring your friends. Tell your enemies. Wake the dog. Wake the neighbors. And join us. It'll be a fabulous time. We're going to have full disclosure. We're going to get people's stories. Call in and tell your stories, and maybe we'll be blessed by another call from the one and only, exclusively here on Truth Quest with Aaron Moriarty, Maxwell Smart. Thank you very much, everybody. Good night. God bless, and keep the faith. Peace in.